Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. Together we'll chant verses 6 to 10 of chapter 3. Karmendriyani sanyamya,
कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य
ya aste manasa smaran,
य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन्
indriyartan vimudhatma,
इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा
mithyachara sa uchyate.
मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते
Yastvindriyani manasa,
यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा
niyamyarabhaterjuna,
नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन
कर्मेन्द्रियै कर्मयोगम्,
कर्मेन्द्रियै कर्मयोगम्
असक्तः स विशिष्यते.
असक्तः स विशिष्यते
नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वम्,
नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वम्
कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः,
कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः
शरीरयात्रापि च ते,
शरीरयात्रापि च ते
न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः,
न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः
यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र,
यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र
लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः,
लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः
Tadartham karma kaunteya
Tadartham karma kaunteya
Mukta sangha samachara
Mukta sangha samachara
Saha yajna praja srishtva
Saha yajna praja srishtva
Purovacha prajapatihi
Purovacha prajapatihi
Anena prasavishyadvam
Anena prasavishyadvam
Yeshavostvishta kamadhuk
Yeshavo svishta kamadhuk
Hari Om and a very good day to all of you. So in the last session we were seeing this phrase mithyachara, one who sits restraining the organs of action but mentally keeps thinking about the objects of senses. That deluded person, vimudhatma, is called a hypocrite, mithyacharaha. Now, Krishna is giving one example of hypocrisy. That is when you withdraw your senses, the sense organs, which means you don't contact the world and you pose as if you're a person who is not interested in sense enjoyments, but the mind keeps running towards the objects of senses. Then he says, you're a vimudhatma, a deluded person, and you're called hypocrite. You're being false. Now, this is only one example. You should remember that. In the yogic approach, what we do is, whenever we see any example means an application of a principle, we don't stop with that. Through that applied principle, we go and understand what the principle is. You know, in mathematics you have theorems and then you have riders. So theorems give the basic principles and riders are various problems where you can apply these theorems. Now actually, without mastering the theorems, you cannot solve the riders. So when Krishna is giving an example like this, it's like in mathematics, there are two ways of going about it. One is you straight away give the theorems and then get to the riders, or sometimes what a teacher may do is first take up a problem and as the problem is being solved, the teacher may teach what theorem has been applied and what is the theorem, and through that they may actually introduce you to the principles, theorems. That is the method which Krishna is adopting in this verse. Sometimes you may find Krishna directly giving the principles. Sometimes he may take an example, an application, and through that he may communicate a principle. Both the approaches are effective. It all just depends on the context only. So when you are learning to solve a particular problem, a particular rider, now what is very important is not whether you're solving that particular rider or not, but whether you've understood and mastered the theorems which are being applied. If you just mechanically learn the solution for, let us say, one rider without understanding the theorems, then when the next rider is given, you will not know what to do. Whereas a person who has mastered the theorems, you give him any rider, it's a question of time and application. He'll be able to apply those theorems and solve those riders. So it is the same thing with life also. A master gives the principles of living, the higher principles. Now, when you learn those principles, thereafter you will be able to apply them in the various aspects of your life and make your life wonderful. But without learning the principles, if you are only interested in solving one particular problem, now you may no doubt get a solution there, but you will find that the problem will keep repeating itself in many other ways, because you wouldn't have gone to the root and solved the problem by using the higher principles. For example, let us say you have a health issue. Now, let's for example say you have some skin issue, some dark patches. Actually, it happened to one of the sadhaks some time back. He was developing some dark patches on the skin. And the solutions which he came up with on his own was just simply using some creams to remove those patches. It worked for a while, but after a while what happened was that the dark patches started reappearing at different places. So when he asked me, why is this happening, I told him, you better check with a doctor, check your sugar levels and all that. Because sometimes if your sugar levels are high, they say these patches are possible. Now, to which he said, no, sir, I'll definitely not have sugar. I said, no, even I'm not saying you're having sugar or anything. But just by looking at you, I can see that your lifestyle is not good. I asked him a series of questions. Do you sleep very late in the night? He said, yes. When do you sleep? At around 1 o'clock. Between 12 and 3, any time he sleeps. I asked him, even during holidays, do you sleep like that? He said, yes. Because I'm so used to being awake in the nights now, that even if I don't have any work, I'm not getting sleep. See, the body has got into that negative habit, negative pattern. So then I asked him, what about your food? Do you have dinner before 9 p.m. in the night? He said, no. Then when do you have? Whenever I want. Like even in the middle of the night, say at 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock, suddenly he feels hungry. Nowadays you have this, you can order anything online, no? See, that is a blessing in one way, if you use it rightly. But for tamasic people, it becomes a curse. You can order any food you want at any time. So at night 1 o'clock, suddenly he feels like eating something. So he'll order, he'll get it. and he will eat it. So very, very irregular eating habits. So if he's sleeping so late in the night, he's not going to get up early in the morning. Then I asked him, do you do any exercises? No. And then what is interesting is, do you drink enough water? Do you keep yourself hydrated? So he thought about it and said no. So I asked him, don't you feel thirsty? Especially during summer days. He said yes. So what do you do at that time? You're supposed to drink water. He said no. He, a particular brand of juice, he said, it's not fresh fruit juice or anything. It's the aerated drinks, He said, I drink that. So I asked him, so every time you're thirsty, you don't drink water. Instead, you drink something else. He said, yes, which has a lot of sugar. So many things are there. So like this, when we analyzed, his entire lifestyle was negative, unhealthy. Negative here means unhealthy in this context. So what I told him is, if you want your skin issue to be solved, you should now change all this. Then this will get solved. To which he asked me, he was a very intelligent man, he asked me, okay sir, why didn't you tell me this directly? Why did you ask me to go to a doctor and check the sugar level? I said, no, since you further asked, I mentioned this. But generally speaking, you are a person who will not be able to accept and practice straight away. For example, from this week itself, can you change all this? He said, yes, I'll put in the effort. I said, it's not possible because you've been having a long-standing habit. So over a period of time only you can change. That too, one by one you need to change. Probably, I told him you should start off with sleeping early in the night first. Even if you're not getting sleep, at least you just lie down, closing your eyes, and slowly you'll have to develop that habit. Similarly, don't avoid late night eating. Like that, you will have to develop these habits and get established in them. That will take a considerable period of time. But your problem now is, because of all this, it has started manifesting at the physical level, in your case as patches in the skin. For others it can be some other symptoms. See, when you have an improper lifestyle, something or other will go wrong with your system. Already there are so many challenges. The scientists are saying this virus, that virus, so many things are. On top of it, if you if you lead an improper lifestyle, which is well under your control, you can easily manage that, but you don't give importance to that and you're just being tamasic, then you're only adding on to the issues. So the problem with you is that, what I was telling him, the problem with you is that you are not seeking the real solution to the problem. You're just wanting to apply some cream and it goes away, there ends it. Yes, if it is some minor thing, it will go away. But if it is recurring, if it is continuously there, if it keeps on coming, then there is some deeper issue. This is like a rider. Now when you're coming and asking me why am I having patches, you're just asking very superficially. You want me to give some immediate method by which the healing can happen. Actually, he asked me, he said, sir, can you give healing because I have this? I said, definitely the healing can be given. But unless you take up the responsibility and change your lifestyle, the effect will not be permanent. But you will not take it very seriously because of the tamas. That is why I said go to a doctor and take all the tests. Invariably something will be wrong, otherwise this will not, all these symptoms will not come. And when you are given the test report and when they tell you only, it will hit your tamasic mind. So to which he said, no, sir, I will start doing it. The most interesting part is, he took about 3 to 6 months to completely come into a healthy lifestyle. That is the right way of sleeping, and then drinking water when you're thirsty. See, it looks very simple, but that itself people are not practicing today. And then doing some exercises, eating basically homemade food, more of homemade food, and less of outside food, things like that. Everything for him to change took about 3 to 6 months. But as he started doing that, within a few weeks itself, he just changed a few habits here and there. Like he started drinking more water, he started sleeping a little early. The moment he did those two things, the skin patches started disappearing. Very, very interesting. So, the tamasic mind always is interested in getting an immediate solution to that immediate problem. And there ends the whole thing. But if you are deep, you will not be satisfied if you merely get a solution to that particular problem. You will go to the roots and you will change the very energy pattern which you are creating. Because if that is not changed, today the healing can be given for the skin issue. That will go away. Then you will develop some other complication. Now again healing will be, then some other complication. But the root will remain and that will keep on growing. So in the yogic approach, we are not happy with merely finding immediate solutions to a particular problem. We are always interested in going deep and understanding what is the principle which has been floated, due to which this problem is occurring. So that is what we are doing here. He has given one problem, one rider, one example. A person sits physically withdrawing, but mentally he keeps indulging. Such a person is a hypocrite. Mithya achara, he says. That is only one manifestation of hypocrisy. Now, if you take a superficial approach, you will just pass by, oh, okay, I should not withdraw myself physically and mentally indulge. There ends the matter. Now, let's go. It's not that. The yogic approach, we pause there. We take this rider, and through that, we see what is the theorem. The theorem is mithya. What is the deeper meaning of mithya? What does it mean by mithyachara? All that, when we start exploring, we find that the principle which is being applied here is very, very deep. And when you gain access to that principle, when you start absorbing that energy, then it is not only with respect to the example he is giving here. At all levels, all forms of hypocrisy, all forms of falsity, everything will go away. So one example is enough for you to derive, for you to go deep and derive the higher principles. So it is not only here. In many places, you will find them giving certain examples. Our masters always use examples. Sometimes they give parable stories. In many ways, they try to explain the higher principles. But the limited mind stops with that particular application. The deeper mind, as a true sadhak, will penetrate a little more deeply and try to understand the principle which the master is trying to communicate. Supposing a person is very, very lazy, he is not earning any money, he is just wasting his time. The master will say, first you earn money, become financially independent. Money is goddess Lakshmi, you need to first earn. But if another person is already wealthy but too attached to wealth, money, and he is unable to think of anything else in life except money, to that person the master will say, what is there in wealth? Wealth is not going to give you happiness. Are you going to take all this? Spend some time in the higher sadhana. Now, apparently both these statements are opposite statements. But if you really go to the principle, you will find both these statements mean the same thing. The master is trying to talk of balance. What he's trying to say is, you should put in your efforts. You should earn, but don't become a slave to wealth. This is the principle. Now, since this person is in that extreme, he gives that example and tries to bring him here. Now, in this case, when you take this problem, the other person is in this extreme. So, he's saying the opposite to bring him to the center, which is the principle. So, if we take a principle like be true to yourself, they say, no, satyam. Satyam, the word satyam is grossly misunderstood as merely speaking the truth alone. No, it has a very, very deep connotation. It's a very deep principle. Satyam is the opposite of mithya, being hypocritical. So that hypocrisy manifests at different levels of your personality. We saw a few last time, no? At the physical level, at the emotional level. I was giving you various riders, examples only. At the intellectual level, at the spiritual level. So why am I giving so many examples? So that it will become easier for you to understand what the principle of mithya is. And you can start leading a life of satyam. So what is satyam? What is being truthful? Whenever you follow your conscience, you're being truthful. Whenever you follow your convictions and your conscience, that is a life of satyam. In the scriptures, they practically give two aspects of satyam in a general way. They say on one hand, it should be the reality. On the other hand, bhuta hitam, it should be for the good of others. Good, it should do good to everyone. Then only it is satyam. Supposing you're just plainly talking the so-called truth, facts, but it disturbs everyone. It causes a lot of issues. Then the scriptures say that is not satyam. Sometimes in certain places you may need to hide a few things for the benefit of that person. That is still satyam, because the bhuta hitam, the benefit of the other person is being satisfied there. So it's not a simple principle. It's a very, very deep principle. If you stop with the rider, the example, you will never ever understand the principle in its true depth. So there will be no personality transformation. You may get a temporary solution to that immediate problem which you're having, but there will be no true inner transformation, and there is no guarantee that the problem will not resurface in different ways again. Like if a person, let us say, is addicted to alcohol, and he comes to you, he asks you, I'm addicted to alcohol, what should I do? You tell him, get addicted to drugs. Then you will come out of alcohol addiction. Is that a real solution? Superficially, yes. But you have created another problem. So this is a great opportunity for us. Whenever a master gives a practical application, immediately we should become very alert and start going deeper and deeper into that. Get to the core principle and absorb that energy. That is a little difficult to do, but if you succeed in doing that, it will give you permanent results. It is easy to skip this and just be satisfied with the immediate solution. But that will not help you in the long run. So, we have been seeing mithya in a deeper way, how this energy of mithya, hypocrisy, falsity, rules your life, rules your personality. Once you get into that false kind of a pattern, then it will start manifesting at the physical level, speech level, action level, speech level, emotional level, intellectual level, everywhere it will start spreading. See, remember, all these negativities spread very fast. That is why you need to be careful. So you need to practice the sadhana of Satyam, being truthful to yourself. That is, following your conscience, following your convictions, which are based on the higher principles, and following your conscience. Every one of you, you have the power of conscience within you. And that conscience clearly tells you that this is not good for me, this is good for me. But today you don't hear the conscience at all, because it is clouded by ignorance, by various other negative energy patterns which you have created. So when you go to a master, he acts like your conscience. You know, the common terminology which is used, is conscience pricks me, they say, like a needle pricks. Why do they say conscience pricks me? It's because the tendency of the mind is to do something wrong, is to act against the truth. So whenever you act against the truth, the conscience will prick you. When you are confining yourself to the truth, then the conscience will not prick you. Actually, the conscience will support you. It is very interesting. We think the conscience is a factor which is against us. No. When you go against truth, the conscience will be against you. It will look as if the conscience is against you. But when you confine yourself to the truth, the conscience will support you. It's the same thing with a master also. When you go to a master, if you are perfectly balanced in the path, now he is going to support you directly. But if you move away from the truth, he will act like your conscience. If you are unable to listen to the conscience from within, the same Guru Shakti manifests as an external Guru. See, it is the conscience itself is an inner manifestation of the Guru Shakti. Now that gets manifested as external Guru, and he may point out some mistakes. It will be like pricking, like a needle pricking. So whenever the truth is bitter, understand that you are moving in a false path. That is why it is bitter. If you are on the right path, truth will never be bitter for you. When you have your energies running in the opposite direction only, this will be bitter for you. That is another simple way of finding out. So be true to yourself. Be yourself. It doesn't matter what others are saying. Now, I have received a question. A person has asked me, what does it mean by being yourself at all times? Because I have a lot of negativities, let us say. I am a very angry person. I am a very lazy person. Now, if I take this and apply, okay, I have to just be myself, which means I should be an angry person. I should shout at others. If I don't shout, now am I not becoming hypocritical? This is his question. I have these lazy tendencies. So what should I do? Be myself. Just be lazy. If I try to act, then I am being hypocritical. So his question is, practicing this principle of overcoming mithya, won't it not lead to a stagnant stage where your personality becomes stagnant? It's a very interesting question which has been asked. That also I will answer, because it will help you to understand this principle in a more deep way. See, when we talk of overcoming hypocrisy, it means leading a life of satyam, truth. That is with respect to this moment. Let us say you're a short-tempered person. Now, what do we mean by satyam? Not that everywhere you should shout. It is not that. What it means is, don't give some other noble motive for your anger and try to cover up your motives. Many people say, oh, see, they get angry, they get irritated, then they say, no, I did it only for your good and all that. You're not at Lord Krishna's level to do all that. So the tendency of the mind is to hide the motive and portray something else. That is the hypocrisy we are talking about. Similarly, if you are very lazy, at this moment, being truthful doesn't mean continuing to be lazy. That is in the future. Right now, accepting, yes, I am lazy. That is being truthful. Supposing you cover up, what is hypocrisy there? If you cover up your laziness by saying, no, I am not lazy and all, I am just being meditative, I am being calm. This is something or other if you keep saying. Like how a person who is addicted to alcohol, he may give some reason why he is addicted to alcohol. That becomes hypocritical. That is mithya. What is interesting is, if you lead a life of satyam, it will not lead to a stagnant state. Actually, it will be very conducive for you to change, because the day you accept, yes, these are my faults, then the correction will start happening automatically. Your question is, isn't correcting hypocritical? No, how can correction be hypocritical? That is what the reality is. Actually, when you are hypocritical, you will try to avoid all your negativities, and that is when you will not change. You will become stagnant. So, please understand this principle properly. I am very thankful to this person who has asked this question, because of that question, the deeper aspects of this principle are being given. So understand this principle in the right way. If you slip, then, which is what is tamas, a tamasic intellect will understand everything in the opposite way. If we say be calm, the tamasic person will understand it as unreactive. If we say you have to now, meditate, the tamasic person will understand it as sleeping. It is very interesting. Any principle you give, the tamasic mind will understand it in the opposite way. So similarly, when we say be truthful, don't be hypocritical, the tamasic mind can understand it as, oh, if I have any negativities, I should just stay put with it. That is what is being truthful. No, we are talking of not hiding your motives and projecting something false in the present. Because the moment you do that, you're closing all doors for a positive change. And that's what I was telling you last week. You cannot hide for long. That's why he is using the word mithya acharaha. If you become false, after a while, it will start manifesting. Acharaha is representative of all forms of external manifestation. So your falsity will become known to everyone. It's only a question of time. A master will be able to spot it at the subtler level itself. But even others will come to know over a period of time. So mithyacharaha, you should avoid mithya in your life. It's a process. Slowly, you will have to practice and get established in Satyam. And the highest form of truth, highest form of Satyam is the infinite. That thou art, that you are, that infinite you are, that is the highest Satyam. So if you start practicing this at the relative level, it's a question of time. Slowly, it will lead you to the infinite. Satyam is the path, Satyam is the goal also, at the highest level. In the Upanishads, there is a verse where they glorify Satyam. When it is asked, how do we reach the truth? They say Satyam. Now what is the truth? They say Satyam. Who is God? Satyam. That one word is so powerful. So again, see, I have defined what Satyam is very carefully. Following your conscience. It should be for the benefit of yourself and others. Those criteria are all very important. So, this is what mithya is, being false, inverted, contrary. Now, I'll give you a few more dimensions of mithya which will help you to understand it more deeply. Mithya has several other dimensions. I'll pick up a few and give you. It means to no purpose, purposeless. What do we mean by purposeless? On one hand, it means purposeless. On the other hand, mithya also means in vain. Another dimension of mithya is it means fruitless. Fruitless means it will not give you any results. The true results will not be obtained by you. We will take up these three dimensions together because they will help you understand the law of karma better because this is karma yoga, no? See, the law of karma states that when you act, you get back the reaction. Whatever results you get in life is according to your karmas, your actions only. Actions means it could be physical action, your motives are your mental actions, everything put together. Your bhav. So sometimes you say, no, I did the right thing only, but I am not getting the right result. It's not 100% right. Somewhere the action, emotion, speech, emotion means the conscious emotion and the subconscious emotion also. You will not be aware of what is happening to you at the subconscious level. So everything put together, if you see, somewhere something would have gone wrong. So in these dimensions, the first one is purposelessness. If you fall a prey to mithya, if you are being hypocritical, he says your life will become purposeless. What is it that you are seeking in life? Let us first establish that. Now, the moment I ask you that question, you will start thinking. Let's not get into the highest philosophy and all that. In a very simple way, from life, you're basically looking for three things only. What are the three things? First is, you're looking for external success. What do we mean by external success? External achievements. Some small purpose that's what he means by purpose. You may have some small goals and you want to achieve them. That is your first motive. Now, in life, you are not only looking for external achievements, you are also looking for happiness, relative happiness. When you are seeking, for example, wealth, even though your goal seems to be wealth, actually the real fruit which you are seeking is happiness. If something does not give you happiness, you will not seek it. At least if you think that something will not give you happiness, you will not seek it. Whatever it is that you are seeking today, you are seeking that because you think that will give you happiness. So on one hand, you want external success, external achievements. On the other hand, you want happiness. Here we are talking of relative peace, the pleasures of life. Even when you go behind sensual pleasure, it's because you feel that will make you happy. This is the second thing which you're seeking in life. But beyond these external achievements and temporary happiness, relative happiness, from a deeper perspective, what is it that you are seeking? You are seeking the infinite. Because anything which you get in life, you are never satisfied. There is never a person who says, I am 100% satisfied. I have had everything. A person never says that. The more you get, the more you want. Then the question comes, what is it that you are seeking really in life? That is, you are seeking the infinite. So when it comes to external achievements also, you are seeking the infinite. When it comes to happiness also, actually you are seeking the infinite. You may not be aware of it today, but that's why I said from the deepest core, only when you do sadhana and start going deeper within yourself, you will understand what is it that you're really seeking. Now, what is interesting is, he says, when you fall a prey to falsity, mithya, then what will happen to you? three things he says. One is, your life becomes purposeless. Mithya itself means to no purpose, which means all your external achievements will not be possible after a while. See, a person who is not true to his work can never succeed. If you are merely trying to cover up and make a show of your work, you will not succeed in that particular field. Supposing you want to master a skill, an art, let us say. Now, instead of being true there and putting in all the hard work and learning that skill, if you try to cover up and make a show, try to show off to people that you mastered that art, now you may get some temporary appreciation if you're the temporary success, but in the long run, can you really achieve anything in that field? No. That is why he says Mithya will not give you any achievement. Your life will become purposeless at the external level, first of all. Whereas, if you are truthful, which means if you want success in a particular area, okay, this is what I want. Now this is my goal and these are the steps which I need to follow, and I will put my heart and soul, I will put in all the effort which is required, I'll be very disciplined, I will function, and if you function this way, it's only a question of time, you will be an achiever in that field. So whether you want external wealth or whether you want power or position, let it be anything. If you do it in a satyam way, then you will be able to get it in the long run. But if you do it in a mithya way, in a false way, you will get it temporarily, but then in the long run, you will use it. That's why Lord Buddha, he said, truth is like the sun. Sometimes it may be covered, it may look as if it is covered with the clouds. But he says, at some point, the truth will come out, the sun will come out. So, when you lead a life of mithya, the first thing that will happen is you will not be successful in life in the long run. Many people say, I was 100% perfect, but life is not being fair to me. That's not true. See, if you look at life in a very narrow way, probably yes. But if you look at life in a broader way, if you take a broader time frame, the law of karma, you can clearly see the law of karma functioning. Generally, people who complain, you find that something is lacking either in their efforts or bhavana somewhere. And then they meet with failure and they go on complaining. And if you take people who succeed in spite of initial failures and challenges and all that, you would have found them being consistent in their efforts with the right bhavana. So there is nothing wrong in pursuing the world, achieving whatever you want to achieve. Achievement is not against spirituality, rather reverse. Spirituality is not against achievement. It only says, if you quote achievement in a mithya way, in a false way, then it is very dangerous. Your whole life will become purposeless. Number one. Number two, mithya means fruitless. If you lead a false life, he says you will not get any fruits in life. Fruits means what? The results. So one is the external achievement, other is the inner happiness. See, fruit it may look as if you are seeking something from outside, but as I told you, actually you are seeking it because you believe that that will give you happiness. So the real fruit which you are looking for is happiness. If you are seeking wealth, it's because you think if I get wealth, I'll be happy. If you're seeking power, it's because you think if I get power, I'll be happy. So happiness is the fruit which is driving you to seek so many things in life. Now, what he's saying is, if you lead a life of mithya, you will not be a happy person. You will be highly stressed. Why? Whenever there is a tussle, there will be stress. See, even in physics we say, no, when two opposite forces act on an object, then that object will get into a strained state. It will not be in a relaxed, natural state. Supposing one person is pulling you in this direction, another person is pulling you in the other direction. Now your entire system will get stressed. Similarly, on one hand, see, when the moment we talk of mithya, you are someone inside, that is one force, and you are trying to project yourself as somebody else outside, that is another force. So two opposite forces are acting on you. Therefore, your mind will get into a state of stress. A person who leads a false life can never be happy, can never be peaceful. Here we are only talking of relative happiness and relative peace, not absolute infinite happiness. That we'll come to next. But first you understand this. So on one hand, you will not get the results, that is, you will not achieve anything. On the other hand, you will not be a happy person. You will not be basically a peaceful person. In spite of having so many things in life, you will still keep complaining. Your mind will not be at rest. You will not be able to sleep peacefully. A person who leads a life of satyam, who acts according to his or her conscience, will be very peaceful. Many sleep issues is because of lack of satyam. I'm not saying that is the only reason, but it could be a reason. It's a very strong factor. So that is why he says fruitless. Mithya means fruitless. The real fruit which you are wanting will not be obtained by you. Then what is the use of your life? Neither are you achieving anything externally, nor are you getting any peace of mind, any relative happiness. Okay, at least are you moving up spiritually? He says no. Mithya means in vain. Your whole life itself is in vain. All your efforts are in vain. See, if you can't even achieve anything here, if you can't be peaceful relatively, how can you suddenly obtain infinite peace or infinite happiness? He says in vain. No spiritual growth also will be possible. Now, what is interesting is, these are the only three things which you are looking for. You are either looking for external success or you are looking for relative peace of mind, and everyone has the infinite as a goal. Whether that person is conscious or not is a different matter, but that is what is ultimate goal. So you will neither get anything in the world, nor will you get inner peace, nor will you develop spiritually. So if you look at it from all angles, mithya, a life of mithya is a waste. It's just nothing but wastage of your energies, that's all. Yet, the beauty is the ego convinces your mind to lead a false life. That is why this wisdom is very important. Once you understand what mithya is giving you in life, it is actually not giving you whatever you're seeking, then the conviction will come to drop it and take up the life of satyam. Today, the hypocrisy is there because you think it is giving you some benefits. Now that itself we are dispelling. But just by using the word mithya, he is dispelling those wrong concepts. This is what he mentioned right in the beginning of the second chapter. When Arjuna completely fell down and he sat down and he said, I cannot fight. Now, Krishna said, Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupastitam. Means, how can you fall into this state? Anarya jushtam asvargyam akirtikaram Arjuna. What does he mean by that? Whatever you're doing, Arjuna, will neither, what will it give you in life? Anarya. Arya means a person who is respectable, who is an achiever in life, who is respected by the society because of his right conduct and achievement. That you will not get. Then it is aswargyam, means swarga. Heaven means the enjoyment which we are talking about. That also you will not get. Akirti, kirti means name and fame. That also you will not get. So you will neither get anything in the world. Anarya, actually Arya, the good old days, a person who was Arya means who was a perfect person, means perfection. You will not move up spiritually also. So you will neither get material success nor will you get spiritual success. Then why are you acting like this, Arjuna? This is what he started off with. Now he is using the word mithyachara to shake up Arjuna further. If you have followed all that carefully, you will be able to understand the depth of what is being given here. The moment you understand that whatever you're doing is not helping you in any way, whether you look at it from the worldly perspective or from the spiritual perspective, then why would you continue to do it? The ego creates an illusion and makes you believe that the wrong path will give you benefits. That is why you get into the wrong path. But now, with the higher wisdom, when you gain this knowledge, when you remove all these wrong concepts, you understand what will give you true benefits and what will not give you true benefits. When you lead a life of Satyam, number one, you will be an achiever in life. Number two, you will become very, very peaceful and happy, which is very important. And the third important aspect is you will be growing spiritually in life. You will start moving towards the infinite. What more would you want? So, one who sits restraining the organs of action but mentally thinks of the objects of senses, now you take that whole line as an example. It means one who leads a false life. One who is someone inside and who portrays himself as someone else outside. This is only an example. Such a person is highly deluded, vimudhatma, and is called a hypocrite. Called by whom? Called by the wise people. See, look at the humility of Krishna. When he is pointing out a fault of the mind, he is not directly saying that. He says, one is called, means the wise people say this. Now, Krishna is an avatara Purusha. He was a direct manifestation of the infinite. Yet he has the humility to say, to refer to the wise people. This is the wisdom given by great masters, he says. When he is the master of all masters. That is the beauty of a spiritual person, you will always find that a spiritual person gives the highest truths, but there will be no arrogation to himself or herself. That ego will never be there. That natural humility is embedded in a master's personality. It's not only here. If you go to the Upanishads also, you find the same thing. Some of the greatest statements, the most subtle statements the masters make. And then they say, thus have we heard from our masters, he says. Very, very humble. No arrogation of the glory to oneself. The ego wants all the glory, but a truly, truly spiritual person does the best, but gives the credit to the higher. That is the beauty. The ego does very less, but wants all the credit for itself. Whenever you are craving for recognition, if you are craving for name and fame, understand that is mithya. If your focus is on giving your best, then you are leading a life of satyam. So, uchyate is a beautiful word here which Krishna uses. He is giving such a deep principle. He says mithyachara. He talks of vimudhatma. It's a very, very powerful principle he is giving, and then he is not attributing it to himself. He is not attributing this wisdom to himself. He says, the wise people say that. Even when he was talking about Sitaprajna, that's what he said. He said, Sitaprajna stadochyate. When the person is called a Sitaprajna, by whom? By the wise people, that is understood. No personal arrogation. A master never promotes himself. There is nothing to promote. A master only promotes the glory of the infinite, the glory of God. The world may consider somebody as a master, but if he is a true spiritual master, he will be naturally humble, simple. He will lead a life of satyam, no artificiality. So on one hand, he talks of mithyachara, and just by using the word uchyate, such a person is called, he is also practically showing what is a life of satyam, what is a life of simplicity. Krishna never arrogates and says, I am now great, I am an avatar, now listen to me. He never says that. It is only when Arjuna probes deeply and asks him, he understands that Krishna is not the person whom he is seeing him as. When he starts asking him about his spiritual glory, that is the time when he reveals in that context. But otherwise, he is a very, very simple person. As I told you, simplicity is a hallmark of spirituality. So it's a beautiful combination. He says vimudhatma, mithyacharaha, all this on one side, and then to it like icing in the cake, finally he says sa uchyate. He is referred to as hypocritical. It's understood by the great masters. That very phrase actually conveys so much, conveys what kind of a personality Krishna was. Not a person who is merely trying to promote himself, but a person who is truly attuned to the infinite. So as sadhaks, as aspiring yogis, you should also start following this. Give your best in life. Put in all your efforts. Go on improving the quality of your actions. Whatever it is that you're doing, keep improving your skills and become the best in whatever you're doing. That is on one hand. On the other hand, be very simple, naturally humble. Don't look for any recognition. The moment you look for recognition in life, you will not be able to give quality in your work. This is the sadhana tip which we can get from that word sa uchyate. Uchyate means is called. On one hand, he is giving the highest principle. On the other hand, he doesn't take the credit. He says, it's all, the wisdom is coming from great people. What a superb combination. This is what true greatness is. Greatness in action, greatness in effort, and humility when it comes to taking the credit. That combination will really elevate you spiritually. Okay? So, we will stop with that in terms of mithya. You can think about that. We will proceed to the next verse now, verse number 7. We'll just start off today, and then next week we'll continue. See, there is much more when we talk of Vimudhatma and Mithyachara, but as we go along, we will be coming back to these same core concepts in again and again, but in different ways. So you don't need to be concerned on that account. As far as you are concerned, the simple principle in this verse is lead a life of Satyam. Satyam versus Mithya. Apply that in all the areas of your life and do a thorough self-analysis, what we call as sieving, purification, and start functioning in life. And when you start achieving great things in life, which will automatically come, now don't arrogate everything to yourself. Say it is all the grace of God. It is all the grace of the Guru Shakti. Then that very the practice of this principle will elevate you to greater heights of spirituality. Okay? Now we will start verse number 7. Yastvindriyani manasa niyamyarabhaterjuna karmendriyai karmayogam asaktah savishishyate. But, tu means but. Yastvindriyani, yah tu indriyani. But one who restrains the senses. Indriyani niyamya. Manasa, with the mind. O Arjuna, he directly refers to Arjuna by his name. Karmendriyai karma yogam arabhate, one who undertakes the karma yoga, who engages the organs of action in karma yoga, undertakes the yoga of karma, the yoga of action with the organs of action, karmendriyahi. In the previous verse itself, I had mentioned to you about karma indriya, jnana indriya and all that. So he is developing on that thought further. Asaktaha, without being attached, saha vishishyate, such a person excels, he says. This is a very, very powerful verse. He is giving different aspects of karma yoga in a nutshell. If the previous verse was very powerful in terms of hammering one's ego, now this verse is even more powerful because having given all the blows to a person, now this verse actually uplifts that person. See, if you go on criticizing someone, let us say someone has a fault. Oh, you're having this fault, you're useless, you're nothing, you're this, you're that. If you keep on that person is completely hit. And then you go away. What have you achieved? Nothing. That is not the approach of Lord Krishna. In verse number 6, he kind of attacked the Arjuna. When we say Arjuna, it's not Arjuna. He attacked the ego. Now, in verse number 7, he is giving the solutions. He is literally uplifting. He is telling you what the right path is. The translation is very simple. But when we go deeper and deeper into this verse, you will understand the power of every aspect which he is giving here. It's very, very powerful. That is why he uses the word tu. Tu means but. Why is he saying but? Because he's changing the flow of energy now. In the previous verse, the energy was destruction of ego. Here, the energy is one of uplifting the consciousness, telling you what is the right path. So these are the two ways by which a master guides a student. Whenever there is something wrong, the master crushes that, the negative energy pattern. And not only does he put an effort to crush the negative energy pattern, on the other hand, he tries to uplift the student by creating a positive energy pattern. This is how you can progress in life. You can follow that principle. Whenever you want a solution in life, see what the negative energy pattern is there, which is causing that problem. Now, take necessary steps to dissolve that, number one. And number two, see what is the positive energy pattern which can be created, which can give you a solution. Now put in efforts to create that. If you are successful in doing these two, now you will be successful in solving that issue which you are facing. This is the very principle of sadhana. So entire verse number 6 was devoted to destroying the negative energy pattern which you create in life. Now in verse number 7, he is telling you how to create a positive energy pattern. He says, you should restrain the senses, not merely physically, manasa, with the mind. The previous verse also he used the word manasa. What was the mind doing? It was just indulging. That is where you need to restrain. You need to restrain your thoughts, your emotions, not mere physical restraint. So, one who restrains the senses with the mind and undertakes the yoga of action with the organs of action. Karmendriyai karma yogam. Unattached, asaktaha. Every word is like a gold mine, Saha vishishyate. Such a person excels. So you should avoid the path of ego and take up to the path of karma yoga, he says. Karma yoga is exactly the opposite of ego, the egoistic path. The path of ego creates a negative energy pattern, whereas karma yoga creates a positive energy pattern. What is it that you want to do in your life? That is up to you. So even before we get into the deeper imports of this verse, just by reading the translation itself, we can find the energy pattern changing. That's what I wanted you to experience today. Next week we'll go deeper into this verse. We'll start our journey into this verse. You will be amazed because every aspect of this verse and the coming verses will start increasing the positivity within you. Okay, so we'll stop with this today. Next week we'll continue further. I just wanted you to feel the shift of energy. When you get some spare time after this lecture, once you reflect on all the points and all that, just read the translation of the previous verse and then but means you're pausing. Read the translation of this verse now. Just read it with that bhav and see. Try to feel the energy pattern changing. It's an amazing experience. We always practice this in the yogic approach. Okay, so now we'll do the nididhyasana, meditation. Sit in a relaxed way. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am getting into a state of deep relaxation. Feel the flow of the divine energy. With every breath, I'm going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond this physical body, beyond these various emotions, beyond these various thoughts, lies my essential supreme self. From this moment onwards, I choose to live a life of Satyam, truth. I choose to follow my conscience at all times. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. It was a very powerful session we had today. This principle of Satyam can actually transform your life, can actually give you everything, provided you understand the principle in the right sense, absorb the energy and then apply it in the right way. A very limited and foolish application of these principles will not give you the real benefits. Okay. So as far as the Guru Purnima is concerned, as I told you last week, we are going to have it on 2nd. By the late 2nd itself, actually the Guru Purnima is starting time-wise, and it continues on 3rd. But from a yogic perspective, the entire month is Guru Purnima only. So Guru Purnima is a day where you get connected to the Guru Shakti, you intensify that connection. So the sadhana, the yogic sadhana which we'll be doing will be so powerful that you can receive the blessings of the Guru Shakti. So right from now itself, start preparing yourself. Do your sadhana on a daily basis. Write down your goals, because when you receive the blessings from the Guru Shakti, if you're clear about what you want, then it will be easy for you to manifest those goals. Be truthful about what you want. Don't be impractical. Bring in the practical element. That is very important. Don't write something which you yourself don't believe in. Be simple and straightforward. Okay. So we'll continue in the next session. Thank you very much. Hari Om.